jump into it like I usually do. I started it already, but Vulture's here, but he's not here. He's in the comment section. What's going on, people? It's the SOULcast, and boy, do I have something to talk to you guys about. This one is Wait a minute. Everybody, go through your introduction thing because I gotta find the article. Hold up.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Stony.
That's it? Oh, this is it. Oh, okay.
Hello, this is these are the vagabond pirates. I got me, Captain Valen, the captain. I got the ship doctor right here with me.
Hi, Doctor. You're right.
And this is the first mate.
Hi.
You can say hi.
Say hi.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
Hey.
He's being shy. There it is.
There he is. He's being a little shy, but there we go. We got my first mate, and that's the vagabonds.
Oh man, I'm trying to find like a synopsis of this thingy. And what's going on, people? So pissed. Okay, hold on. Oh, maybe I should just type in synopsis and that will find me exactly what
That could work.
what I'm looking for.
Synopsis. Or plot breakdown or. But anyway, y'all should already know who I am. Let me reintroduce myself. Loner 23. Have no fear, I'm here.
The loner is near.
Okay, so what else can I say about? We're gonna start off with teenage Chinese Bruce Wayne in high school.
Wait,
That is a lot.
wait. That's the new Batman?
No, this is real. This is a thing. There's this new, I guess it's a light novel. I don't know. I saw it the other day. I was blown away by the preposterity of it. But it's like apparently DC has this whole line of like teen Vogue like light novels. Fine, but like this particular one is about Batman. Well, not really. It's about Bruce Wayne, and he's a teenager, and he's Chinese. And Alfred is his uncle, and he's gay and fabulous, and he's in high school in a love triangle with Selena Kyle and the Joker. And hold on, I just have to find this. Discuss.
Damn, I got so much Batman stuff.
Okay, that was a lot to take in.
That just sounds like hot bottom shelf mid.
Oh, Batman. Wait. Maybe I understood it. Batman fights Bruce Lee, who's in a love triangle.
No. Valid. Bruce Wayne is a Chinese teenager in high school in Gotham in a love triangle with Selena Kyle and Jack Napier, and Alfred is his uncle. He's gay and fabulous.
Are they trying to do what Marvel does and like always push agendas? Because I don't give a fuck about agendas. I just want to see Batman do stuff.
But Bruce Wayne.
I'm not about it. I'm not about it one bit. I can't tell you how much I'm not about it. I can't begin to.
Did they at least show his parents die? Yeah, that's
just
the first
plain
thing I thought about.
Okay, do we see the screen?
Oh no!
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, guys, let's go through this.
That looks terrible.
Wait, it's Gotham High?
Oh my God!
Are they trying to change it into?
I just want to start off with something fun because
Riverdale.
We're gonna get into something real. What's up, Valor?
No,
Are they trying to change it into Riverdale?
Oh, sorry, what?
Oh yeah, let's get some structure and some order. So really quick, I say let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, who's going first?
Valor. I'm gonna call him out.
All right, fair enough. All right, first and foremost, this is the worst kind of pandering because it's pandering while simultaneously virtue signaling. Like, if you don't read this, now you're somehow racist or sexist, or if you don't like this Batman, you just don't like Chinese people, or if you don't like this or that, you just don't like. And it's positioning itself to be this moral high ground and authority when really it's just pandering to the current generation of fucking soft hand effete bullshit ass people who haven't been tested and think that being woke is the same as being strong, and it isn't. Continue.
Ooh, holy shit.
That was a lot.
Okay,
I enjoyed how you summarized that, Valen. But
I'm gonna put some. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna keep some order to this stream. So, Stoney says, you go next, man. What do you think so far? Our first reactions, like, just what do you?
I thought you were joking, so because Batman's my favorite comic character. Once you start, just
why would I joke? Hold on. Why would I joke about a teenage Chinese Batman in high school in a love triangle with Catwoman and a Joker?
That seems far fetched. Why the hell would that be a thing? Like when you were saying, I was like, who would do that? And now I see who's doing it. Now,
Loner.
Yeah. To like touch on Valen's point, it does feel like it's very much forced in your face, and yeah, obviously. It seems like some kind of high school teen Riverdale stuff, and I don't see how this is appealing at all.
But guys, here's a surprise I got for you guys. This is a Q&A with the author.
Okay.
Let's see the questions they asked, and I want to see the answers. I'm so angry right now. I can actually feel my blood circulating faster. It's weird.
I am actually curious to hear the questions too.
So hold on, let's go for it. I'm gonna narrate.
One second before you start. Sorry, I was on mute. The whole reason this is the whole reason she did this, because it's automatic publicity in every fucking scope. It's automatic publicity. Win, lose, or draw, DC wins. They don't ever have to make a Gotham High year 2 or whatever the fuck.
Don't jinx it. It might happen. If they make a TV show on the CW, I'd be pissed.
Oh my god, I would be. Mad,
you know they might.
Yeah. So you guys ready to? Well, my bad, Valen, you still going?
Oh no.
Okay, but I'm gonna go through let's just go over these questions and answers. I'm just gonna do a narration real quick. So I got to interview the lovely Melissa De La Cruz again for her upcoming graphic novel. It's a graphic novel. I thought it was a light novel. Okay, Gotham High. I mean, this is a comic book basically. Jesus, it's an imagining of our favorite heroes and a few villains as they go through high school. While Selena Kyle, as the narrator, I love reading. Serena Kyle is the narrator. I love reading. Selena Kyle is the narrator.
I guess since it's not called Batman, it's
the story Gotham. Played out. It's dramatic and full of action and a little sprinkling of romance. I'm excited for what Melissa De La Cruz will write for us next. Here's the first question: what's the difference between publishing a novel versus a graphic novel? Oh, so she writes romance. I remember she writes romance novels, and they hired her to make a comic book. Basically, I remember. So, what's the difference between publishing a novel and a graphic novel? Does your timeline change? A little bit. Most of you worked on a graphic novel in chunks to feed the artist. The story has to be ahead of the artist's schedule. They need something to draw. So I worked on it 20 pages. I worked on it in 20-page sections, I think, and I was about 20 pages ahead of. Let me stop right here. This is the problem. She's not drawing. I'm not saying every comic book graphic novel has to be illustrated and authored by the person who wrote it, but she's not even involved in the process. She's just writing something in her head, and somebody else has to go, okay, well, what the fuck does that look like?
Okay, so it's Twilight.
So she's not even involved in the art of the. I mean, okay, and the story has to be ahead of the art. They need to do the rights. I worked on 20 pages, like, but 20 pages ahead of the Thomas, so we'd be on schedule. The big difference, like graphic novels tell a story through images, so I had to think about how the images land on the page. The experience of reading it is very tactile. When you turn the page, you want a surprise. Not really. That sort of thing. Okay. Very much closer to writing a screenplay than a novel. Okay. Thoughts? Anything? Or next question?
It just seems like she is just trying to like come up with like excuses like just to explain her own headcanon stuff.
No, I'm just gonna chalk it up to that she just doing public fan fiction. This is the Batman I know.
Or that too. Or
So
Published
can you
fan
talk
fiction.
about your process writing this graphic novel and working with Thomas Pitt? I don't even know who that is. Like I said, I'm trying to stay ahead of the art deadline so we can make our deadline. I'm gonna put notes on how Bruce's library is based on the interior of Harvard. Selena's outfit for the party. Okay, so she's rambling. I want to get to the grit of like why you decided to make him Chinese. I'm obsessed with Selena in this book. I'm obsessed with Selena in this book. How did you decide who to have narrate through the course of the story? Why do we need a narrator in a comic book? I'm kind of lost on that myself, really. It's almost like it's somebody who doesn't know. It's almost like a narration in a comic book. It's like somebody who's never made a comic book before, who's used to writing stories where somebody would have to narrate the story to the person reading it, and then they translated that style of writing to making comic books. And then that doesn't work, though. Why do we need a narrator the entirety of the comic book? Like, that works for books about characters who, like, talk to the audience, like Deadpool or some shit. But could you imagine reading Batman and every 5 seconds as I went into the Batcave, and then I went to, why are you narrating us, Bruce? Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
I have to monologue how he fucked up the villain. He's playing the head for like 12 pages. I'm like,
Right.
damn.
You're right, dude.
Hold on. That was my editor's suggestion. I wrote the narration, but later we realized it was Selena telling the story, and it really clicked. What the fuck?
How did she realize it? Wasn't she narrating or whatever?
And then she was like, you know what? We could just make Selena say all of this stuff. So it wasn't written to be narrated by Valen.
What's up?
Like something.
What'd I do?
No.
Sharing the stream, bro.
You gotta help me out here, man. Like, this is mind-boggling. Are you hearing this?
Bits and pieces. I have been typing up a tweet to share the stream. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I have heard what she's doing and why she made it. Like, I already said everything I'm gonna need to say about this. It's pandering. It's virtue positioning, so she can defend herself and defame you no matter what she does. And It's a win-win for Marvel. They get the free publicity. They get the free word of mouth. Like, we're talking right now, feeding the beast for free. You know what I mean? Like, and if they never have to make another one, they never have to make another one. But if it gets popular and the CW buys it, then
it will get popular, Valen. You know what generation we live in. That shit's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. Exactly. So you know what? Yeah, we go from Gotham to Gotham High.
Damn,
it's even sounds worse.
So now they're asking her. They said seeing Poison Ivy was cool. Will we see any more of Batman's villainesses in the future? What about the villains? She was like, I hope so. That's all I can say. I guess. So male villains don't matter. So how about that? Will you be including any more? It's like, I love getting to see Ivy involved in this volume. Will you be including any more of Batman's villainesses in the future? What about just villains? Period. But fuck it, I guess.
Cobblepot.
Do you want to see Cobblepot? You know what? Do we really want to see Mr. Freeze in high school? No, we don't. So
I tell you though, who I do want to see in high school, Harvey Dent.
Oh, yeah.
Living quarters through the hallways, like,
exactly though. I want to see the inklings of the Two-Face that have always been in there, because he had a schism, but there was always like violent behind things that he's done, and there's always been like this like weird second part to him throughout the series as far as canon's concerned, not just the movies. So I think it would be really cool to see him as that jock that is just like the biggest fucking monster, but everybody loves him because he comes from a good family. He's a good looking guy. Every now and again he does a publicly visible.
Well, he might not be that, because you know what? He'll make him a successful straight white person, and that's not going to exist in this book. He's going to be probably some Indian refugee,
bi or trans
female, and it'll be like Harvey, but like with a chick.
Who had acid thrown on her face. I get it. That's some radical.
Vulture. So you gotta call a spade, people. You gotta call a spade. So more Batman.
People are allowed to say that anymore. I will say that out loud. Like as the melanin deficient one in the room. I don't think I'm allowed to say stuff like that anymore. Dumbo ruined it for everybody.
Oh man, you know what? It's fucked up, Val. You're right. If Val would have made that same joke I just made, some people somewhere would have been.
It would have been livid. They was like, I can't believe those black guys had him on there and they let him say that.
Oh yeah, cancel.
Because I make a comment, you guys are Uncle Toms.
Oh my god! You know what?
I did get a white girl pregnant, so damn near him.
Hey, you too.
The crazy thing about that it's crazy how people hate when you don't think like them.
Yeah.
I love it. Like,
and that reason why I say that's crazy to me, because I don't consider myself all there to begin with, but I've never gave a fuck about what other people think. And so to know that the majority of the people in this world care about what people think about them and what other people think in general, I was like, why? Like, what the fuck?
Other people care what other people dicks or pussies do. I was like, why the fuck you care what I fucking? That's mind-boggling.
Just don't try to suck my dick, and we could be homies, man. Just like, that's the only thing. Like, but you know what? Hey, let's keep it going.
That's what I just said yesterday. Like people fear what they don't understand.
But let's keep it on. Let's keep it going. Jack's card game situation was definitely fascinating. What's your favorite card game to play? What the fuck are we talking about here?
What about the book?
Play poker, and I was like, all right, whatever. Let's get to the Chinese. What challenges come with developing characters for graphic novel? It's, I think, making them 3-dimensional. They're already really showing all the layers.
I'm sorry. None of these are fucking questions. None of these are questions. These are word vomit that people use when they have nothing to say.
And like they want to ask real questions. That's what that is.
They're not like, this isn't real. Maybe there might be a real question in here. I'm not here to judge that, but
you know what? This is the.
I said hi, you son of a bitch. But don't be getting out here indignant, some motherfucker.
But valid, this is the level of journalism. She's asking what challenges come with developing characters for a graphic novel about Bruce Wayne, and her response was trying to make him more 3-dimensional. He's Bruce Wayne. How many dimensions do you?
Bruce Wayne is one of the most developed characters in all of literary
journalism that exists. Games journalism, music journalism, commentary. Journalism is such a hack now because of all these internet bloggers getting jobs and creating these shit pieces like this. I will insult this. I will. But this is my journal. You're not in this. You're not. I'm not even a journalist. You're not even in my league. You have no time. Who's your favorite character in the Batman universe? Blah blah blah. Who gives a fuck? Let me see. Okay. This awesome graphic novel will be out. First things first. Journalism. Awesome. Why are you using words like that? That has nothing to do with what's being told. That is your personal opinion about this thing. You're putting up. Whatever. This awesome graphic novel will be out.
People like fucking Sean Hannity. They get to use the term journalism when really they're opinion pieces. And the left and right both do it in such vicious ways that people forget they're saying words, but they're not like journalists.
No, they're not in the slightest. No, they're just like some kind of hype up conversation. Exactly. This also will be out in a couple of weeks. Are you doing anything digital that we can help you promote? So what are some ways you're coping with staying at home at the moment? We don't give a fuck. I want some real meaty questions. I need to find a real interview. I guess that's it.
I'm telling you, bro.
There are no real questions.
I would have asked a bunch of offensive questions.
Yeah,
I guess that's just it. And I want to know why this character is Chinese. They're not even mentioning why.
Does Bruce Wayne already know martial arts yet? Never mind. That was.
Of course, he's Chinese.
I was like, Chinese, I know all over the world how to train like that. He already know.
Because if he was white and knew martial arts, he'd be a superhero.
Well, he learned from his gay uncle, I guess.
Hey, they're called gunkles.
It's like he doesn't have a butler no more. He's just a regular Chinese dude with his gay uncle. Both his parents got robbed and killed.
Hold up. I found an even better interview just for the first question. This is so steamy. This is so trash. Oh my God, yes. Yes. Like just the start of that answer. Oh my God, this is what we've been waiting for. This is why we're here. Listen, look at this, guys. Look at this, fellas. Behold. Behold, did not screen share? What happened? Behold, wait a minute. What's going on?
Behold.
Where's the screen? Okay, yeah. Okay, there it is. Behold. Entertainment Weekly, blah, 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 blah. Okay. When DC Inc. approached you to reinvent popular versions, what drew you to Batman? He's like, my husband is a big Batman fan. So when DC called and said, we want you to do a young adult line, I'm assuming that's what YA means. What character do you want to do? I wanted to do Batman. It's such a funny kind of character that I could put my own spin on. I was like, no. But then I kept reading, right? So the guy said, a lot like your husband. I've been a Batman fan my whole life. Oh, that's the other guy. No. That's not what I wanted to get on. Look at this. What excited you about debuting new versions of not only Batman but also the Joker and Catwoman? Listen to this. Listen. Bruce Wayne is the billionaire. He's the richest man alive. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if his family was Chinese and from Hong Kong? That made it feel real. That's been a big influx of wealthy Chinese people who moved from Hong Kong. So rich white
that sounds
people
like word placement.
If you're rich and white, like there's no authenticity to being a rich white character. Nothing that happens to a person who is white matters. That's not you can't connect to that. You can't relate. It's gonna be more fun if we make it Chinese.
He
The
probably
thing is they use this to virtue signal, but if you look into the wealth of a lot of the wealthiest Asian families, you're gonna see a lot of money from a long time ago that some people might call, I don't know, slaves. Yeah, people don't want to talk about that shit. People don't want to talk about like warmongering and selling and buying of human life that these people did throughout their entirety to gain the money.
But
same with us.
So we need to
same
make
with
Chinese
like everybody. For the record.
But valid. It's not real. Please, man. It won't feel real unless the character isn't white. You can't have a white character for people to look up to. What does a white person know about trials and tribulation?
Yeah, Spider-Man does never suffer nothing. He don't know
how fucking disgusting that line of thought is.
He probably seen like crazy rich Asians and just
like, now they attacking these beautiful, delicious white folk.
I mean,
now they're fully calling them out and not giving them any of the credit.
You can say that, valid, but like when you witnessed for the last 5 years, several comic book characters be killed or written off for no reason and replaced with somebody who's racially and sexually and diverse, just for no read about the superhero. Why don't you just make a new fucking superhero? You see what I'm saying?
I do. No, there's definitely a huge, like I said, virtue signaling PC element to both Marvel, huge in Marvel, to the point that it's like, wow. But I mean, they're owned by Disney now, so what are you gonna do? But DC, I thought, like when I think DC, I think like Frank Miller. You know what I mean? I think dirty.
I think gritty.
Yeah,
I guess I see Spider-Man with a Mickey Mouse symbol on his back now.
Out of gravel, you know what I mean? Like, but this is CW.
Listen to this. Guys. Listen to this. You gave Batman to somebody who doesn't give a shit about Batman. Listen, that made it feel real. There's been a big influx of wealthy Chinese people who moved from Hong Kong to Arcadia and Los Angeles, and that's where my mom lives. Cool. I'm part Chinese. Cool. My brother lives in Hong Kong.
Say crazy rich Asians.
Lona, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. So hold on. She's like, that's where my mom lives. I'm Chinese. I'm part Chinese. My brother lives in Hong Kong, so I thought it'd be great to put what I know to Bruce Wayne. I just wanted him to be a little bit more representative of my background, giving him an authentic family. What the fuck? Alfred is not just... So Bruce Wayne's family wasn't authentic because his parents were white. Alfred is not just his butler, but he's also his uncle. He's his gay uncle from Hong Kong. So Alfred's not an authentic role model and family member to Bruce Wayne because he's a British dude. It gives us this family, crazy rich Asian sheen to it. This is fucking Batman!
I was just about to say
because he was Superman ass at one time.
I was just about to say he probably watched crazy rich Asians,
especially in today's world, since we're living in the most diverse world we've probably ever lived. It's been the exact same planet. So it's more representative of Batman in 2020. What the fuck? And since he's a teenager, I try my best to put a little bit of myself into the character as well. Channeling those feelings of being an adolescent and feeling like an outsider. I definitely wasn't a billionaire, but of 10 times I felt separate from everyone else around me. Bro, his parents are dead. You don't need to give him your shitty teenage angst feelings to give him character.
I swear to God, I'm gonna start petitioning to write like Batman's childhood, because they're not gonna get it. People aren't gonna fucking understand. And this fucking stupid ass, self-centered bitch is
Wait,
not.
Fallon. She just said, "Gossip Girl Batman." I hate that whole phrase.
Well, hold on, wait a minute, guys. We're not finished with the interview. She could. Okay, so what did you use as inspiration for this new version of Batman? I pitched this kind of Gossip Girl Batman. Oh my God, fuck, Stony. And in my mind, I wanted to reinvent Chuck Bass. He's still Bruce Wayne. It's not the Great Gatsby, so he's still brooding. He's still a loner. He still has all that iconic Batman personality. You can't mess with that much. But making him Chinese was a no-brainer. Everyone was on board from the beginning. From an artistic standpoint, to his
say no, you fucking.
From an artistic standpoint, to his real Bruce Wayne, it's still Bruce Wayne, and Batman was essentially wiped clean. What? From an artistic standpoint, the history of Bruce Wayne and Batman was essentially wiped clean. I wasn't held down in any way to one specific thing. It gave me the opportunity to think of this character completely differently than how the other artists had drawn this character over the years. I actually choked on that.
Facts. Vulture's right. Nobody knows orphans like me.
How did you go about designing the look of the characters? All right, that's what can they really say about that?
Basically, I wanted them to be like CW characters on the page. You know, too pretty to be real.
Let's see. So there's so much of that Instagram culture and social media culture with teens today. So I try to interject that into the style and the look of the character, specifically with the Joker character. He was the hardest character to visualize and design because he's not your average villain. He's almost not a villain at all in a way. He goes back and forth from where you sympathize with him sometimes, and sometimes you see him as a villain. So I wanted to give him a look that played on both sides of his personality. We keep going back and forth on the revenges, and it finally came down to, at the time we were doing Gotham High, I just had this haircut, and I had the same haircut we ended up giving the Joker. It became a great reference throughout the process. I just had to look at myself. In a weird way, the Joker character is the most like me. I would send you fashion for Selena because I had really specific ideas for outfits I wanted her to wear. Okay, whatever. Let me just keep going. When you sat down to develop the story of this graphic novel, what was your main goal you wanted to accomplish, fellas? Are you guys ready?
Yep. Shit on Bruce Wayne?
I wanted to write about a young Bruce Wayne. So obviously there's going to be a love story. The Joker's pretty hot, so he's got to be in there. That's where I started. I wanted to write something about how he dealt with his wealth, because I've always written stories about how things that people think are so great actually don't turn out to be so great. I just wrote The Queen's Assassins. We got to review that. About a girl who doesn't want to be a princess. So I wanted to show how it's not actually that great to be that rich. It's actually a barrier between Bruce and everyone around him. Now, see, I like that. I actually like that. Show us that being rich isn't all it's cracked up to be. You know, that's fine. It's almost a burden to be so different. Is he able to have friends? Can he have a relationship? And then I went from there. You're thinking of the wrong things. What about avenging the fucking city? What about
when this nigga go on the way, dropping out of high school, he's supposed to go away and just train.
Okay. Speaking of that love triangle, we've always seen Batman, the Joker, and Catwoman at odds with each other. And sometimes Batman and Catwoman are romantic situations. Where did you get the idea to make that a full-on love triangle? I always remember this quote from Truman Capote? I don't know. In Cold Blood, we said something like,
Capote.
we came from the same place, but how you say it?
Truman Capote.
Capote in Cold Blood. Thank you. He's talking about the killers and says something like, we came from the same place, but I walked out the front door and he walked out the back door. All right, there's this feeling that they're the same person, just for different circles. Okay, I wanted to put that in the Batman Joker dynamic. They're also the same person, but Bruce has all his privileges and Jack has nothing. Oh, God. What does that do to who they become? And then there's a girl in the middle, the hottest girl to ever walk the halls of high school. What does she want? It came out trying to figure out all their desires. What does Jack bring to Selena is different from what Bruce brings to Selena. Ultimately, you don't know who she's going to pick. You root for both of them. There's a surprise at the end. There's a Shakespearean aspect to the love triangle, and I was trying to feed off of that with the art by making all the characters almost overact. It was an opportunity to stretch my artistic acting muscles. Okay, fantastic. Of all the come out so far, oh my God. So this one, of all the Gotham High fucking novels that exist, or whatever the fuck they're called, this one's the first one to set up a sequel. Where do you envision the story going so far? It already has a sequel, guys. I'm a series writer and a franchise writer. I like to create the universe and playing with the big iconic characters. It felt like doing The Descendants, but in the DC universe. I don't even know what that is. I would love to play a little more. We have minor characters that we get to know a bit more, like Poison Ivy and Harvey. Harvey's in there. And I think it's the last time and I don't think it's the last we'll see of Selena, Jack, and Bruce either. I think it's going to shuffle out the bank. I'm going to hope to do more of Jack's story in the second book. What about Batman? We barely even
All right,
saw
the most
Robin.
interesting thing about this is this bitch just said second book.
This said second book.
Man.
My only thing is she just, or whoever, just seen crazy rich Asians and just put Twilight in there and said, hey,
Excuse me.
let's just make a story.
Pardon me, I don't mean to interrupt. You had the best album of the year, but my wife just said something ridiculous. She said, you're just jealous because she's making money. And I'm like, no, I'm not jealous she's making money. I'd love to make money doing this. That'd be dope, but I'm not jealous. And then, she wasn't wrong then. But then she went on to say, you wish you thought of this. I wish nobody in the motherfucking world thought of this.
The Chinese Batman in high school.
I know about it. I could have went my whole life without knowing.
Juggalo Joker, I am done with this whole fucking business.
I mean, it's just not a good idea.
Here's what I'll say. I've said this several times.
My man.
Here's my main beef with this comes. It's from the industry standard of new artists just co-opting franchises that already exist and then recreating them and telling them different. And my problem with that is, like, you only want to take these franchises because people already like them. It already has a fan base, not because people give a fuck about your interpretation of these characters. But then you do nothing to show respect to the characters that we already like, not your twisted fucking vision of these characters. So instead of being, having some balls and being a brave artist and creating something of your own and putting it out there in the market and seeing if people like it, you take the name of something else, put your fucked up idea in it, and say, oh, but this is still this thing. No, it's not. Leave our shit alone.
Yeah.
That's my gripe.
That's the thing.
Yeah, because she completely changed like the whole narrative of his whole, like, she changed his whole persona and motivation.
Bro, I don't even think.
Not even that. Do you know what this is? This is some person who couldn't sell a story.
I think that's the
Oh yeah, YouTube cut him off. YouTube is like, oh no, he is slandering us. Cancel Valen.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know. I think I can cancel like 4 times. I'm not sure.
No, you're still muted, Valen.
Yeah, Valen, you're muted.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yo,
Wait,
shit, Dustin's here. How long has Dustin been there?
I've been here for a minute, bro.
What the fuck is Dustin doing here?
This is somebody who couldn't sell a story and needed to use Batman, Joker, and Catwoman, three of the most prolific names in comic books right now, period, even in media right now. Because Batman has a new movie coming out, Joker's always tied to something nowadays, and like they just couldn't sell. They couldn't sell the fucking screenplay to CW, so they put DC characters into it, and it was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. That's how I feel.
Yeah, this hurts my soul, and like I wanted to talk about the New Warriors too, but I don't even want to.
Yeah.
Wait,
that's-
New Warrior. What's that?
Oh God, Val, do you not know?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wait, with, like,
Snowball
Sage,
and Snowflake.
And yeah. No, we're done.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Yeah,
Moving on.
that's
We don't want this
that's
to
a
be
whole nother
the
conversation.
what it's about to be.
Well, okay, there's one more thing. Apparently, Japan as a whole decided to reach out to learn how to grab the Western market more. This is what I'm understanding.
Oh yeah. I was talking about this with Film Phoenix in my stream the other day.
Okay, well, I get my brief understanding, and then maybe you could expand on it more. So, from my understanding, like as they want to learn how to reach Western markets more with like manga and anime and stuff like that. So they reached out to Funimation, and like okay, so like Funimation. So what I'm understanding is Funimation is going to help them try to mold anime to be more adapting to Western audiences, but from what I understand of Funimation and their policies and the way they operate as a company for the last couple of years, that just sounds like anime is going to get censored.
Yeah. I hope it ain't the case, but it's it's sounding like it.
Here's the thing, and I've been saying this because of how just absolutely fantastic My Hero Academia is done. Not only in the home country of Japan, which it was expected to. It's so well written, it's so well done. But the fact that it reached so deep into Western culture faster than any other anime it took Naruto a few years to really get into like its stride of people being like, oh, this is
That's
that
true.
shit.
If I started running up fucking trees and shit.
Exactly. Like, but with this, everybody was instantly into it. They were instantly on board. Like, there was no like the Western hesitation that usually comes with like anime and manga being like, oh, this weird nerdy thing just wasn't there because it was superheroes. You know what I mean?
It's because it's the hero era.
Exactly. And it's just I'm personally I'm a big fan. Obviously, like you just heard all the things I said about it. Even if I wasn't a fan, I'd like to think that I would say those things because they're fucking true. But I feel that they're trying to tap into that more because nothing has done that since. And to their mind, if we can do it with this, why can't we do it with everything else? And I don't think it's necessarily. I hope to everything. It's not necessarily censorship and just taking away from what makes anime, and by making it a Western thing. You know what I mean? But I hope it's more of them learning to integrate the things that like trigger that Western impulse to buy, like. Which is really all they care about, in my opinion.
You know what kills me? Like this, however you feel about it, humor is what it is, and either you like it or you don't. And my biggest example of that is like, take like one of the guys I think is the funniest people on the planet is like the professional wrestler Chris Jericho. If you just follow like his regular YouTube stuff, like his type of humor is so funny to me, but some people just don't get it. Like he'll do something like
Release the Hounds thing was hilarious.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. So he'll do something like sit in a hot tub with leather pants on, pour champagne into a glass, and then drink from the bottle. And I'm like, he's not. But that's what I'm saying.
I need you guys to know, just because that's old vaudevillian stuff that nobody knows about now. That he can just that's just old stuff that nobody knows about. I'm a big fan. That's one of the reasons I know about the Release the Hounds thing.
We might have to talk more about that later because I find that type of humor.
It's the champion, man.
But even I guess the point to get with that being said is just like Japan has a very particular style of humor, like, and you just can't get over it. It's not Western humor, and like, and the way I would explain it is like, when I first started watching Ruby, the first thing I noticed about it was like, wow, this show is like they fight like it's an anime, but the humor is American. And when I explained it to a friend, he like immediately got what I was saying, because you can tell just like how the humor is. Like, this is not, like. Basically, Japan is full of a bunch of perverts and freaky shit. Like, they like weird shit, and for us who like the weird shit, they like. We don't mind. I don't see why Japan as a whole is trying to tone down their weird shit when their own people. Like, have you seen Japanese game shows?
Oh yeah.
No. See, I think that's a. I just think, I don't want to say wrong because it could be right, but I think that's just a defeatist mentality. I don't think they're trying to downplay their weirdness. They're just trying to understand the Western market better. And they will say what they need to say to do that. Japan does not care. They will still make, like, Magi. That's a fairly recent series where, like, they had those the gigantic manly females with the long noses, and like let alone the various Okama from One Piece.
Time out. So I've never heard of that, but you just describing gigantic manly females with long noses made me crack out laughing. This is why we love Japan.
Exactly. And they won't get rid of that. I firmly believe in my heart that they will not get rid of that. But I mean, there is the fear that I'm wrong.
Yeah. God. It's all about fear, huh? Like, you just like, wait, what is that though? Like, what? I wonder what made them originally. Do you think it's literally just My Hero Academia blowing up? And it's like, oh, how do we do that again? Is that where this is coming from, or do you really think it's some kind of like, oh, the only thing they like from us is My Hero Academia? How do we fix that? Because before, like. Anime in the West has always been one of the things. It's always been anime in the West as a fan base, but as far as phenomenon go, it's literally really only been like in the past you had like the Dragon Balls and the Pokemons, and then like a little bit of Naruto, and then now My Hero, and then Attack on Titan, I guess you can say. But very few anime come over here and be like,
And actually, I want to add a Kame ga Kill to that. When that came out, people were losing their minds about it.
God, but after episode 10, it sucked because it stopped following the manga.
That's neither here nor there. I'm just
hit that mid train.
I'm just saying that. Yeah, I think.
Or Madoka box.
The thing I like, and here's the thing, and Dustin brought up a good point. That's not what he loves about Japan, and it's not what I love about Japan. For me, it's, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, the honor system that they have, the kind of understanding of not only are they here, but everybody else is around me as well, so I should behave that way. And the cultural differences, like, I'll use my theory on Whole Cake Island, where it's a bigger deal in, we'll say, Western culture, their culture, or Eastern. Which one are they again? I think we're the West.
We're West, they're East.
Yeah, okay. Give me a minute. The Eastern culture, like having your profession, being, the best cook that you can be in any situation, if you're a cook, is of higher esteem and order than, say, kicking the crap out of Big Mom or fighting a big fight or something like that, as opposed to the Western audience where we're like, yeah, but we want to see the flashy kicky doom murders.
Right.
And there's things like that kind of don't translate as well, and people have, like, it just, there's certain cultural significant things that they feel like they're missing with, that they want to keep hitting.
To that, then I would say the one thing that they did was, I mean, like, it's the one thing that connects the East to the West. Is like, it's the same reason I like wrestling. It's just like, I think the reason why My Hero does so well is because My Hero, like, when you look at the Endeavor thing and the All Might thing, and that last movie that came out, it does really good about putting characters in situations where you really feel for them and you really want them to persevere and succeed. Because it's like it goes back to that old line from the Spider-Man movie, Green Goblins. Like, the only thing people like seeing more than a hero is a hero fail. But it's kind of the exact opposite. We don't like to see heroes fail. We want to see a hero get to the point where they might fail but then win. And so when you look at that, that correlates to a lot of how a lot of American comic books are written, to the point where there's always that one moment when the heroes basically pretty much lose and then they don't.
It's the point to overcome that said situation.
Right, it's just the overcoming of shit. Like, it's just, there's certain things, regardless of what language you speak or what humor you have, there's certain things people like to see. You want to see somebody win. You want to see somebody, like, be an underdog. That's why Rocky is such a good movie. It's because when in Rocky 4, you really thought, how will he beat this motherfucker? Like,
man, when Clubber Lang gave him those lumps and Mick Warren says, he'll knock you in the mall, Rock. I was like, damn, man, he gonna fuck you up.
Right? How you gonna do this? And then dude, that whole movie was fucked up. He's like, yo, just teach me how to box like a Negro. It's like,
oh man,
teach me how to shook an ass. It's okay, right? It's like, oh god, Rocky, stop.
As long as Japan don't make fucking teenage Luffy in high school, but he's black.
Teenage Luffy.
Man, they already do it with other animes. They got Attack on Titan high school, I think, for anime or manga.
No, they already have them since high school.
No, that was more so of a joke.
Wait, I take that back. Isn't it?
They already do have One Piece in high school thing.
They do have Death Note.
Death Note already is high school. Doesn't even count.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Like that's why if they did like a Bleach high school thing, it'd be like, yeah, but they already did that in.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't care about that.
Yeah.
Man, before we go transition into the whole COVID thing that Valen wanted to talk about, but like since you brought it up earlier, what do you guys think about like these empty arena shows like WWE and AEW's been doing?
Oh well, I can speculate on that.
I mean, more in the concept of like the performer still going out and doing the show and the storylines and the matches with no crowd. I mean, if it really is about, if you're gonna restrict the crowd because you don't want something to spread, then why are the performers there? I mean, I kind of have to
because Vince told them, hey, even though the audience like isn't here, show still has to go on.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Okay, so literally this weekend, WrestleMania just happened, right? Like, so my question is like, why is WrestleMania like? Why did it happen? Like, if you're gonna get to the point where you hold WrestleMania with no crowd, then why is it even happening? You know what I mean?
Like, where was that? That Wood Big Stadium? Because that's crazy. They could just
it wasn't big stadium. Okay, so Stoney, for the last month or so, SmackDown and Raw has been being held out of WWE's training center, and then they held WrestleMania out of the training center because but the only people there are the performers. But I'm like, why are the performers here if you're going to the point where you're not having a crowd? You know, it makes you wonder. Is like you're saying you're doing this for the measure of safety, and there is a part of me because Chris Jericho said like right now, you know, some people still want to be able to watch wrestling, you know, and like it is like one of those mentalities where the show must go on, but it's like, is that mentality a good thing or a bad thing where you put the performers at risk because people want to still be able to enjoy the wrestling?
See, because that's the whole point of Roman. He stepped out of that championship match because he's like, look, I just had cancer and leukemia. I do not want to be here. And Vince was like, well, hey man, the show still has to go, so they swapped him out and put Braun in there. And so I'm like,
well, yeah, but we're talking more on just the aspect of them performing at all, like everybody, like
some actually left, and then some I think had to stay for the whole purpose of Vince. He's just greedy. He doesn't care. It's like he just wants to put on a show.
You can say Vince is greedy, but like Chris Jericho said himself, he still wants to wrestle because he knows people want to watch him wrestle.
Yeah, true. But you also have to.
We don't know how many of these guys, still want to do it, or how many. I just find it interesting. You're stopping all mass attendance events, so there's like no sporting events, stuff like that. I think UFC shut down as well, even though Dana White's trying to fight against it. But you have this one event still being on like every week, but it's just the idea of like the performers. Like, is this a threat to the performer's safety? Is like, and to what end does the show go on until where all your like because your talent can still, even though there's no crowd, your talent is still in danger, right? There's no reason to suggest that their talent isn't in danger anymore.
In my opinion, if I can speak on this, they don't want to hemorrhage as much money. If they can't make ticket sales, they still need that advertising dollar. You know what I mean? The rest, I don't know how much you paid attention to WWEF or whatever, but the wrestlers' health is not super high on their priority list. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so they're like, all right, we got a couple sons of bitches with COVID, no big deal. We'll just cycle them out for some people that ain't got it. You know what I mean? That is their mentality. The show must go on, the bills must be paid, and Vince McMahon must get all the monies. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And WrestleMania is the biggest example of that. WrestleMania, while being huge, it was such a hollow fucking experience.
Exactly.
It was so empty, so like it wasn't even a maraca. Like you couldn't even shake it to make noise. There was just nothing.
Here's a good question.
I ain't even see part one.
If you ran a business, whether it be AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, doesn't matter. If you ran a business, I don't even know if New Japan is doing empty arena shows, but like if you ran a business, what would you do? Like what would you do? Like, you
right
know,
now I would work for the hype.
NFL shut down. Every other sporting event shut down for the most part. So it's kind of interesting that wrestling is still up.
Here's what me personally would do. I would ask if you feel comfortable doing this. You have been tested. You aren't COVID. Have been like quarantined, so you know all that stuff, and you still want to wrestle, and that everybody involved in this is the same level of health, and you know there's no like possibility of COVID. Like these wrestlers are quarantined with each other. Da 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 da. You know what I mean? Then yeah, okay. If that's what you want to go through to live out your dream of being a wrestler, I don't want to. You know that's what you're here for. Let's make that money. Let's do our thing. But there would be no hard feelings for anybody who's like, yeah, no, not going to do that. And I damn sure wouldn't hold any pay-per-view or special-ass events because it's just, like I said, they're so hollow. There's no soul to them. The biggest thing about WrestleMania has only been, aside from maybe the last match, it's always been the fans, the crowd reaction.
Yeah.
They spend an easy hour panning over the crowds. They go between matches, enduring matches, and every chance they get to go into the crowd because they know that's the important part of this.
Well, also in terms of storyline, like, you know, wrestlers are at their most powerful at WrestleMania, so, you know.
Exactly. They really are, it's not because of like they're at WrestleMania. It's because the fans.
What I'm saying is like,
but
so
you can say if you hear WrestleMania, you always hear one person come up, Undertaker.
Boy,
it's just like, but no, you're right.
If you about to talk shit about Undertaker, I'm about to find you.
But Valen, you made an interesting point.
No. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. So,
okay.
yeah.
But you know,
of course he is.
You made an interesting point though. Like in terms of the product, we all know, like, you know, wrestlers get their power from the fans and shit. That's kind of the point of the gimmick. So I was like, for them to be wrestling in front of no fans, was like kind of like, does this kind of defeat the purpose, or can you just enjoy the sport?
Real talk. Could you imagine Hulk Hogan, fucking Andre the Giant match where Hulk Hogan's on the ropes.
Nobody yells, makes noise afterwards.
You know, and the crowd's cheering, going bananas. And then that when he holds it up that last time, the way that crowd goes, and he starts shaking, he starts fucking Hulkamania, he starts hulking up and shit. Dude, that was all because of the fans. It was nothing to do with Hulk. Like, I mean, obviously that was the choreography of the set. I understand that as an intellectual person who likes wrestling. Right. But as the person who enjoys the entertainment of it, he was siphoning energy from the fans to make himself stronger so that he could, you know, possess the energy of all the Hulkamaniacs in the stage. It's really
100%. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And, but that's why I said wrestlers are the most powerful WrestleMania, because that's the biggest crowd, so they'll be able to be at their full power or whatever. But it is interesting. Like you said, it's hollow and it feels weird. But like I said, every other sporting event is down. For this one to be the only one that's not, it's kind of like, well, what the hell? How are you guys allowed to do that? Like, you know, why can't we have the NBA when it's just 5 guys in the gym by themselves?
Oh, do you know why? Because that dumb son of a bitch who got it first went around touching everything, and nobody could be trusted from then on. That's why. That motherfucker was like, ha, I got COVID. And then 3 days later, he's like, So yeah, no, I really do have COVID. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. I should have taken this seriously. I didn't mean nothing by it. Like, come on, man, fuck out of here. That shit was
Wow.
juvenile
Shit.
at best.
So wait, so a basketball player got COVID, and then he just started touching shit.
Oh, you didn't see that?
Yeah.
Literally in
Yeah,
in a interview before
What's this dude's name?
suspected.
What's this dude's name?
I cannot remember this dude's name. Somebody in the chat, please tell me this dude's name. But he was like,
Yeah.
he literally touched.
I forgot his name.
I'm not a basketball
went
person.
back and touched every microphone.
Wait,
What
he did.
the fuck?
Yeah,
Damn,
because
they
he
can
thought
curse
it was a
stuff?
joke.
Yeah, he thought all this was nothing. And now it's like, and then literally everybody on the team had it, and they were like, "Yeah, this dude was acting like it wasn't serious."
Oh, there
Like,
it is. Rudy
Is that nigga off the
Goldberg.
team?
Rudy Goldberg, yeah.
Rudy Goldberg.
Hey,
He off the team?
Yeah.
I think he is. He was on the Utah Jazz.
Yep. Yeah.
It was
Goldberg
was
touches mics.
bad. Like, not,
touch
like
his
this
mic.
wasn't even 2020 bad. This was like, why would you do that at all? You're an adult human being, kind of bad. You know what I mean?
Hey Val, and it's the same thing as the other people that is going around licking toilets, and all of them have COVID now.
Yep.
That's another thing that they do. They started spinning Arizona teas at the supermarket.
Wait,
They're spinning it.
guys, time out. Hold on. Guys, hold on. Wait a minute. We're watching this. This shit is fucking hilarious.
Dude, this is bananas.
Yeah, we're watching
so
this.
fucked up.
Rudy
It's like a really
Goldberg.
quick
Oh my
part of
god.
But yeah, man.
Oh my god.
Because I mean, why would you lick a whole toilet or a shopping cart and just hey, I got COVID?
Because people are fucking monsters. That's why.
Oh my god. So and meanwhile in Townsville.
In Townsville. Wow, in Townsville.
Yeah,
Oh,
this little piece of shit right here.
Here we go.
Oh, my
Please.
Oh.
Look
Yeah,
at-
do me a favor and play.
Oh, this better play, man.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, he gets up, and then he goes to leave and turns around and touches fucking everything.
Oh yeah, I was just watching on my phone. I just looked
like,
up.
you know how fucking. Oh my god.
We don't know what they're talking about. No, not at all. But
Apparently the game got canceled after that.
nice to see the
Yep, because he got confirmed. And yes,
Fucked
Flo
up
is
to
right.
everybody.
Flo is right. In his defense, he got it from somebody else. He probably wasn't the first player to get it. He was just the first confirmed. But because of the actions you just saw, everybody was like, "No, fuck this dude."
Why would he?
And because he was real loose, he was touching everybody's things
So
in the
was
locker
the
room.
joke like, oh, maybe I don't got it, and then he found out he really had it, and then
That comment came around real fast. That bitch. that
Yeah,
bitch, you
yeah.
You
He
said
had
you
to
got
do
it.
the
All right,
full
fat
apology
nigga.
circuit.
so
the locker room.
he just
The officials got
what? Why?
I don't know, bro. I genuinely do not.
He just wanted to be that guy.
Cover up with the blanket. You.
Sometimes you just have to be that guy.
Oh my god! I love that, bro. Oh, okay. No, Valen, I believe because we was gonna do your thing last because yours is kind of serious. Is there anybody else? Anybody else want to go over something before Valen gets to the nitty gritty?
Oh well, that Disney Plus thing I had.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure everybody here, like as a kid, has seen Lizzie McGuire, right?
Yep.
Of course, Hillary Duff. I used to want to
Okay.
put my stuff in when I was a kid.
Hell yeah, bro. I
I mean,
wanted to
you
do that.
still could get it.
Okay, so apparently, Disney Plus was going to do a reboot of the show and put it on Disney Plus, but it was pulled because it was too suggestive towards alcohol, sexual stuff, and sexual themes.
Lizzie fucking McGuire?
Damn, it was like that back then. I don't remember it being.
No, they're gonna
I don't remember
do
that.
it like she's an adult now, but it's still
Yeah.
Oh, like how they did That's
still
So
has
Raven.
the cartoon version of herself and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, but
That'd be funny.
she's out here getting hammer pounded and stuff like that, and her little cartoon friend is like, "God damn, he could at least spit on it." You know what I mean? They don't want that at Disney.
Right. Okay, so now here's the thing. That sounds like a terrible idea for a Disney show, but Lizzie McGuire being like 29 or something sounds like a good idea for a show.
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
Oh yeah, no, that olive skin chick with the dark hair. 100% agree with you. 100% agree.
oh,
with
her friend or whatever, I think.
you. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so wait, hold on. So they were gonna do the show, and then they made it too sexually subjective, and then they pulled it
Yeah.
because they said it was too sexually subjective. So how did we get there?
Yeah. I guess that well, they had an some kind of idea because I guess that it was in the works, and then they were just like,
Well, I guess my point is, it's kind of like that's weird. Something like that recently happened too. I remember it was in Funimation. They started dubbing some show, dubbed like 4 episodes of it, and they said we're not going to dub this show no more because it don't fit our standards. And I was like, but why did you acquire the license and then get the scripts
Wait,
and start?
is that the show with the dudes reviewing Monster Thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just like, but the thing is, what I'm saying is like, you as a company got the license, and then you said this doesn't fit us. So what I'm saying is, if Disney Plus was making only Disney can make a Lizzie McGuire show. So if Disney was making a Lizzie McGuire show, and then said it was too sexually subjective, so they pulled it. How did we get there?
The truth is, they could. All right, here's the thing about Hollywood that maybe y'all may not know. When you buy an IP, you have to show good faith measure in using it and wanting to actively use this IP by shooting something, by dubbing this much of it, so on and so forth. They can now maintain that IP for, say, I think it's 70 years now without anybody fucking touching it, and they can show that they showed good faith in trying to do something with it. So now nobody can be Lizzie McGuire. Disney 100% owns that in perpetuity for 70 years. I'm sure there was some other company that helped produce it or some shit like that, for the Disney Channel, but now they probably own it entirely and in perpetuity. And by doing this, and I just think it's just an underhanded way for them to maintain control. Because what's a couple $1 million to Disney? Real talk. It ain't shit.
That's true.
So you said they want to just hold on to it till it goes into the public domain?
No, until it's at risk, and then they might do a.
But like the long term goal is to own the rights of it till it becomes like public.
Yes.
Because something has to exist for like 100 years, then it could be in the public domain.
It used to be 7. It used to be 7 years, but after Disney specifically lobbying various politicians and things like that, it's now 70 fucking years.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, y'all remember? Y'all came up with around my age. Y'all remember the Disney Vault? Every so often, Disney, the Little Mermaid came back. The Snow White came back. Well,
I thought it was
like clockwork every 7 years.
I thought it was 5.
Oh damn, I do remember that. He's like, this was coming out the vote. I was like, what?
Yep, exactly.
It was like Lion King Master Edition with 3 extra minutes. I was like, no way.
But that was just them renewing the copyright.
VHS.
Okay, yeah, true.
That's what that was. Every 7 years, they just renewed the copyright, put it out, coming out of the vault. Now, you notice the vault hasn't been around for a while because they changed the laws.
I thought it was all of it was trademarked.
I thought that shit was locked in.
It is, but trademark only lasted 7 years.
7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, now they last 70 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. That's perspective right there, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, dude, like I know the way so much shit works underneath. It's hard for me to look at anything and be like a positive person.
Down the whole business, man.
Right? Like it's just I got curious and I got looking into stuff and now I hate everything.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. So before we go on, yo, Z boy, how do you feel about teenage Chinese Batman in high school?
Who?
My brother,
Like-
you are happy you don't know. Let's just keep it at that.
He's like, ooh.
All right, Valen, take us home, man.
All right. The final topic is one my wife actually brought to my attention. I don't know if she's going to come in to talk about it or keep my son busy. It's really up to her. Our son, not like she doesn't have partial ownership. Sorry, it's like a Buick in that way. But yeah, I start with a joke because it's an awkward topic. But the quarantine, we all know the quarantine has been getting to people. We know we've seen people be more vicious online, just more full of vitriol, just more negative. You know what I mean? Every now and again, people will say things like, "Oh, be positive," don't forget life is good. But everything else they do is just attacking or being negative in some way, because that's where we are right now. Like, it's so much easier to be negative than positive. And with everybody cooped up, it's gotten to some more than others. And the first reported coronavirus suicide, which isn't getting coronavirus so that you can die from it, just to specify, it's when you've been cooped up from the isolation and they felt like there was no other way out, the depression, the spiraling, all these things, they got to them and they killed themselves. And like, that's the world we live in right now. And I don't know if any of you remember Germany 19. Are you okay? All right. 19, I want to say 36. I don't know. There was a song that came out. And I don't know where, I don't know when, but no, those are like the lyrics. And it caused 86 suicides. Or sorry, the song is attributed to 86 suicides. Not only for the beauty of the song, but for the lack of hope that it represents. And I really feel like we can be in the midst of a moment like that, where a simple spark can light something much bigger than any of us could imagine, because so many people are in such a dark place. So many people genuinely don't see a positive way out of this. Like, all right, yeah, this will end, but I still have to pay all these months of, bills that they I did not have to pay them. They just waited until I have to pay them later, and now they're going to want all this money and I'm not going to have it. And this quarantine is affecting the lower class in ways that most people can't even, like, don't even want to imagine. Like, there is no way out for some people after this. Just shit. Before, if this was like my life before I met Bethany and after I stopped hustling, I would be one of these people absolutely fucked right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just trying to work out a job. Like, Vulture, in my opinion, Vulture got lucky in the sense that he's getting like 100 hours a week because everybody else is sick. You know what I mean? And he happens to have an essential
I have a
job.
friend like that who drives for Houston Metro. He's getting mad hours because a lot of people aren't coming to work. But at the same time, he's working like 16-hour shifts a day.
Exactly. Like, I don't. Yeah, like I want to give Vulture the credit for this.
To what you're saying, Val, about people being in this whole, to me, I feel like, because I unfortunately don't know what this solitude feels like, because I have to keep going to work. And a lot of days I'll be at work and nobody shows up because everybody's on fucking quarantine and I'm there for hours not doing anything. So here's my proposition. If you don't know what to do, then I say we treat this like every other pathogen that fucking exists, and you let people start going back to work and everybody try to stay as clean and healthy as possible, because either you're going to let people start going to work or you're going to start waiving rent or some shit like that. But
that's what they need to do. Like, because they literally waived mortgages. You don't have to pay your mortgages for 4 months if you are an owner, but you can still charge if you are an owner of places that are rental properties. They're still charging rent. God knows the place that owns this is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? I know we had to pay rent. We were able to talk them down to half, but God, like in a pandemic, you shouldn't have to talk your landlord down to half rent.
Yeah. You know I had to pay my rent and shit too. I just had to pay my internet bill. I just had to pay my phone. I had to pay everything. Like, I'm very upset about having to pay a lot of shit. Now, here's my thing. Why are the Democrats trying to stop Trump from giving us free money? Just let him do it.
Well, all right. That is okay. That is a misnomer. They're not. What they're trying to do is prevent him from spending, we'll say, just to put a money on it, a dime on the people and $100 on corporations. Businesses that have millions
I
and millions
believed
of
that
dollars.
too until I saw that one reproposition they was doing, and they added a whole bunch of other shit in there, like racial equity and all. I was like, what the fuck does any of this?
Wait, racial equity.
Yeah.
What?
All right, I didn't see that. I'll admit I may not have all the information. Obviously, I'm not like at the table.
No, when it came down to it, from what I truly understand, it feels like they said, well, this isn't a bad idea, but this is Trump's idea, so let's make it our idea. And that's kind of what it's like. It's been a running joke among me and my friends that the left pretty much block anything Trump could cure cancer, and they'll hate him for it. But like when it comes to the point where he's literally trying to give out money, and you're really just like, I understand what you're saying about like, oh, well, where is it going? Like, dude, there's not the time for this shit because the first already done passed. There's a lot of people who didn't pay their rent.
Yeah.
He's been trying to do it for like two. It's like what's going on? And the latest bill they agreed on, the only thing that's different is that they added an extra $200. You stop this for like 2 weeks for this. Release the first bill and to do it again later and make it better the next time. Like what I'm saying is people need fucking help. It's not the time for this petty fucking partisan bullshit, dude. Like it's about time everybody just start sitting down
and helping each other.
One thing I will say to this is that I do know one of the things that the Democrats were working on was the maritime business, like cruise ships and things like that specifically fly under different nations' flags so they don't have to pay American taxes. And now they're getting American bailouts. So that's something that they were very serious about. And I, as a person who feels like if you don't pay taxes, you shouldn't be getting any fucking help. You know what I mean? I feel that was the right thing to do in the wrong, did it in the wrong way. Like you said, they should have been like, all right, here's this. But now the fucking, since you want to take this help, now you're getting back taxed. Or you can just pay back what we gave you. You know what I mean? And there you go. You know what I mean? I bet 10 to 1 odds they'll pay back what they gave instead of all them back taxes.
It's just so weird. Now it's just not the time for petty shit. Like, oh, we'll make your idea better. Like maybe you can, but why don't you just let the first idea. What was wrong with? It's just like, and not for me. Listen, me, I unfortunately, however you want to say it. Like I'm not being isolated. I still get to go to work, but I know people who don't. I have a friend who doesn't. I have a friend who just got a job, and then his job had to close, and he literally just got the job.
That's
But so either you're gonna start waiving the rent, or you're gonna pass this damn bill and start throwing out these monthly stimulus packages you're supposed to be sending everybody. Listen, $1,000 a month.
They're gonna take 4 weeks to get their minimum.
But even with that being said, listen, $1,000 a month is enough for anybody to get at least their rent paid for a month. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, dude. Like,
actually, I will say that is a locational thing because
that's what I was saying. Like, if it was LA, that was like $2,000 for some apartments.
Yeah, like my sister is like $1,000 ain't doing shit for this place. Like her rent like $3,000, and she has like 4 different roommates and shit. Like, and it's only like a 3-bedroom place. Like, it's not.
Man.
It's 1 floor. Like big open kitchen, little tiny rooms, big living room.
Yeah, there's some people who need more help, and like I said, I can understand the need of needing to put tiers and shit to it or whatever. Like, but like for the love,
the problem is
did that after you did the first one. Let the first one fly. Just do it, and then go back and make it better the next time. What's the point of blocking? Listen, like when you're watching the news and you see like, oh, hey, Trump proposes bills. Next day, Congress blocks bill. What? Next day, Trump proposes a new bill. Next day, Congress blocks bill. You're like, hold on, man, the first is coming up.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, they didn't have any time frame understanding of what was going on. All of them, even Bernie Sanders, who is the biggest moderate of there, have lost touch over the years with exactly when and how Americans do. They understand Americans do need money. Okay, that's fine. Groovy. But they've lost track of like the way it needs to be done, and they were trying to virtue signal and be able to be like, well, I didn't sign this bill because of this, because I'm so much better and presidential and this, that, and the third. And it's like, listen, the only thing presidential right now is that none of you are fucking presidential. Trump isn't presidential. None of you are presidential. Everybody out here is pointing the finger at somebody else. Nobody's actually standing up, taking the blame, and sending shit down. You know what I mean? Like the buck stops here does not apply to this particular I almost said regime, But this particular
Be careful.
establishment, I wouldn't have been wrong, but I'll say establishment, administration. That's what I was looking for this particular administration. So I think with that in mind, like they should have just been like, all right, here, this is this. We'll make it better next time. This is what we didn't like. Strip all that shit out for the businesses. They got their one-time bailout. They should have financial situations in place for, in case business drops. If they're a business, they should do that. That's how it works. The only difference is like it's a multi-million-dollar business, and a lot of the here's the thing: a lot of the senators and stuff that are voting this way and that have stock in these various companies. They ergo a reason to keep them going and funded and da 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 da. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's true. Vulture said it best. They don't care about the real people. Right? Like, look at Amazon. It's like, all right, work until you get COVID and then stop.
Right.
Or die. Like that's, huh?
I love that. Yeah, what are we doing? You're gonna work until you get COVID, and then you can stop.
Yeah, like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
permanently.
yeah, like this is ridiculous. My dog's being
I
cute.
mean, the timing. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the timing is like super convenient. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't feel like there's any time that's convenient for this. You know what I mean?
No, I mean
feel
like 'cause it's like it like okay, it came during like an election time,
I
right?
thought they were like
And
maybe
it
got
came up
or the right thing
after
is on the floor.
sending nukes to start a war to keep him in office didn't work.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like that's fair. That's
And,
pretty
and
fair.
he can't get out of office while Pandora like this is happening. So
I definitely will acknowledge that he'll use the "you don't switch horses midstream" situation.
Are we calling people supervillains here?
But yeah, I was gonna say,
I
but
mean,
I genuinely don't think that this is one of those planned things. I think this is a situation that should have been handled early, was ignored by everybody, and from then on just exasperated like these things do. Like this, do you think the Ebola outbreak in South Africa would have been just as a little blip if Obama was like, nah, that's all fake news. They don't really have it. They just want our money. They want our equipment. They don't really want it. You know what I mean? And then, of course, it just spread and spread and spread. And then, for some reason, people had Ebola parties, and like they all wanted to lick toilet seats to get Ebola. Like people have been really weird about this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's the name they don't recognize to fear. But if this was like Ebola or like dick fall offitis, everybody would stay the fuck home. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
you bet your ass I sent home. They say you go out there, your dick fall off. Fuck that.
right, I'm boarding up the windows from the inside. Man. Like, no,
This is wearing oxygen mask. No, I need fresh oxygen. I don't know what's in the air. My
right?
dick might fall off.
No. No, sir. I'm just spraying fresh oxygen on my dick this whole time. I don't know what causes it, but I'm keeping it. I'm
I'm
playing
wearing cuffs and shit. I'm like, I'm extra secure.
right. I got one on my
6 cups
face,
on.
one on my downstairs. Yeah, fresh, keeping it. Yeah, but because it's a name people don't recognize, and that's what, dude. Cat William talked about this. They use words motherfuckers don't readily identify, like insurgents. Like he's like, I ain't got no insurgent friend. You know what I mean?
Insurgent friend.
Yeah, exactly. I ain't got one insurgent friend. You better get all them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And now that's what, like, that's the same thing, but in reverse. If this had the fucking correlation of like Ebola, you know, where body parts or leprosy and shit just starts falling off, pustules and all that jazz, people would be fucking staying home. But they're like, oh, it's just a little cough. It's a little cold. It's not that big a deal. Like, no,
Until
bitch,
niggas
it's
start
literally
dropping.
killing the cilia inside your lungs. Those things that don't regrow, that allow you to filter air so you can breathe. You don't see how those are important?
Yeah, but damn, you gotta think about accent for a second, man. Like, I got this friend of mine who's supposed to be coming over Thursday, and I'm supposed to tell her just stay home because I don't want to get sick.
No, y'all both put okay. Y'all remember Scary Movie
Hey,
when they was
six
fucking
feet.
like, y'all, you got protection, I got protection, and they was fucking with guns. Now y'all just need to fuck with masks on. Do a doggy style so you could both watch X-Files. There's ways around this. All right, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know for a fact, but I do know that Corona lives in the saliva. So as long as you ain't getting mouthies and you're not going down and y'all just straight smacking the smack,
Nah,
then
damn.
Corona today, man. We all gonna get
Damn,
Corona
no
today.
choke in the back of
he's like, we all gonna get it today.
I was like, do I really want to gamble it just about? I'm like, nah.
See, that's why there you go. Just get a.
I mean, if someone famous comes through your door, I mean, what can you say?
If Selma Hayek came to my door right now, it was like, fuck me for Corona, I'd be like, I'm sorry, baby, but I need a drink, and I would fuck the shit out of her, even if it was just for one beer. Selma Hayek.
Put that hazmat suit on.
I was high the other day and I thought people started getting quirks.
What did you just
She's a
fucking
model.
say to me?
She's a model?
Actress. Selma Hayek from
Oh,
Desperado?
From what?
Oh, I thought we was talking about a model.
No,
Yeah.
Selma
I
Hayek.
was saying something famous.
She's in what?
No,
Desperado.
yeah, Selma Hayek
Desperado.
from.
Never seen it. Desperado. I've never seen it.
She an actor? Oh yeah, actor.
Yeah,
There we go. It was one of those things where I always see her fucking face.
Yeah, she's currently in that movie Like a Boss.
Never heard of it.
Oh my god, I'm trying to find a picture.
That vampire movie.
From Dusk Till
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yeah, Dust Till Dawn.
Never seen it.
Oh,
I
classic.
can't even.
Classic.
All right, I'm trying to share my screen real quick.
Okay, well, have you ever seen Desperado?
Nope.
Or the Zorro movies?
All right.
Nope.
Her.
Zoom in. Oh, I've seen her before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen her.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
why do I think she was a porn star for some reason?
It's a porn star.
Type in
Like
Amy
that's
Jo
what the
Johnson.
first thing was either model or porn. That's what my mind went to. I was like,
Yeah,
is that who she is?
What up?
Look up Amy Jo Johnson.
The Amy
Oh
Jo.
yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
That's the Pink Ranger.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, this is the woman that let me know I was straight when I was a kid. That's it.
Oh, I mean Kimberly?
No, she looks. I'm sorry, but she looks like horrible in that picture. In that
She looks like a
particular
man.
She's hot as shit in general. Like, don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah, that's Kimberly.
Yeah, I was always about to get me some Pink Ranger.
Oh yeah.
Go get the suspenders on. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, get the fucking suspenders.
Yeah, suspended.
I was like,
Wait,
just cut a hole in the super suit.
You say I'm uncultured. Vulture said I'm uncultured.
What?
Yeah, I'm
Uncultured.
uncultured.
Oh.
Exactly, Vulture. She nah.
Ooh.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
Yo, what are we?
I don't think we getting quirks anytime
Wait
soon.
a minute, guys. What is this podcast even about right now?
We went.
I
we
just
went on
asked
some
important
places.
question.
We went on some places. That's all.
The current Pink Ranger.
An important, serious topic of a
This podcast is not about Amy Jo Johnson. Let's go now.
Oh shit!
I agree, Vulture. Where all the black girls at?
Hey, my girl was Latina. All right. All right.
Well,
I'm Latino. She's Latina. We're a perfect match. Don't lie. Don't just. We go together.
so what are we speaking about now, guys? You guys want to wrap up or?
I think it's a good enough wrap. Yeah, you don't want to like drag it on too long, and you usually keep these to about an hour anyway. I've noticed. So if you want to like maintain that,
let's wrap this up. So we will go out in glorious fashion. Valen will be the last one to go. Stony, give us some final thoughts. What's going on? How's your week been, man? What's up?
Oh, it just started, but my son's kid, he went to the doctor today and he doesn't have anything.
What's up?
I'm good. No, I said me and the family's good. We don't have anything.
What's your take on this whole virus world we live in, man?
Well, I was already a hermit type of nigga anyway, so it's not really big of a change for me.
Right. Just same old.
Like now, it just made me even more paranoid than I was before because I already watched my back. Now I'm watching everything. I go outside. I was like, this nigga just cough. I was like, I ain't going in there until that nigga leave.
I do find like when I'm out in the world, I'm very cautious of like what my hands touch now for no reason almost. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on, let me not put my hand on this counter. Let me just keep my hands floating or in my pocket or something. Launer, what's up, man? How you feeling? How you feeling about the world, bro?
The world is crappy, but is there's still some good people in there. I've been well currently. I just got a extended spring break. So hopefully I go back on the 23rd, but I don't know yet. Um, Unemployment kind of sucks right now because you gotta wait a long time,
Yeah.
and so it's like, uh, you just take it as you go.
Take it as you go, man.
Yeah.
Like, actually give Launer some strength, bro. Give him the energy for the spirit bomb, man. Like his school and his job is kicking him out for a little while, you know. So yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
danger zone.
Even
Yes.
Hercule had niggas throwing their hands up.
So,
Yeah, so I just been hopping into streams and talking to people and stuff like that. So
that is
it's
kind of
always good to talk with people.
And I think it is kind of cool how everybody kind of got like, unfortunately though, but in a sense, some people got like a much needed break, and then hopefully society doesn't collapse and we can get back to business as usual. But you gotta see, yeah, Vulture, jump in, give your outro, bro. Z boy, the world, the whole coronavirus thing, the COVID, how you feel about it, man? Like,
I feel like it is a tough time, but we'll get through it. And I just suggest everyone to wash their
Valid.
hands and to use hand sanitizer and just when they go out and such like that. And yeah, man, don't freak out too much though. Don't do nothing crazy because of it, because it is a crazy situation, but it isn't it is something that we can't get through. So.
yeah, Valen, Vulture said do his outro of his voice.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's gonna type it out, and I'm gonna read it.
Vulture been killing me in the chat.
Yeah, Vulture's been on his shit for a while. Like, people just sleep on him. I don't know what the fuck it is, but he streams like damn near every day, and like, all right. All right.
It's funny.
Yo, this is Vulture Valley. Sometimes I find red hairs in strange places, but always remember we out here.
I don't even want to know.
I don't.
Probably having a clown party. We don't know. What he do?
Valid.
Bunch of red wigs.
Yeah, Valid. If you could give some final thoughts and then give us some words to leave off on, but before you give us the closing statements, I just want to put a video on. Oh, yeah. So I guess give me your final thoughts first.
My bad.
No, I was going to say, Val's going to give us final thoughts, and he'll give us a closing statement. But in between, I'm gonna show a video because I thought it was kind of funny.
All right. My final thoughts on this are that it is just the craziest time in most people's lives. There are. No, I'm not going to say that. That'll be for later. All right. This is a crazy time that we live in. There's no real sense of security, no real sense of direction. Everything is so amorphous that we can't grasp a hold of the things we thought we had a firm grip on. Everything seems to be slipping through our hands, and we can't follow where it's going because we can't even leave our house. So people turn inward and they walk their own stairway in their mind, not realizing that it's just this cyclical spiral staircase into black nothingness. And sometimes people need help out of there. Going to the store, seeing other people, talking to friends. Things have changed so abruptly that the normal things people do to drag themselves out of these dark places don't exist anymore or are punishable anymore. So they're left with the thing that they can't deal with the most, and that is themselves. And that's what we're dealing with right now. 36 million people? That's the American population? No, 360 something American people.
Yeah, but we're like 360 to 370 million people here.
360 some odd American people spiraling in on themselves, wishing that they were these celebrities that are now crying in their mansions because all of a sudden their life can't be about whatever they want it to be at any given moment. And that's where we're stuck. We're stuck wishing our grandparents were healthy while simultaneously hoping we could be the celebrities that we see. We're in a place where there is no up or down. There's only lateral moves, and we can't seem to make any of them. So we just have to keep going forward.
Real. I want to say one thing based on my personal experience with this is you know, I'm in college and I'm taking online classes, and you take online classes, make sure like you don't fall behind just because you're at home and you know at school. So because I've been kind of chilling a little bit, but then I'm like, hold up, I'm not about to retake a year. So.
Preach. Don't get complacent just because everything is falling to pieces around you. This is good. My closing statements revolve around that. So let's continue. You said you got a video?
Yeah.
All right.
If you guys are ready, I just want to give you guys some words of encouragement for everybody to go home. Okay.
I'm scared now.
Right? We're all like, what the fuck is he going to do?
I know that laugh. It's the villain laugh.
Right? Like everybody's gonna see an open goat butthole. I don't want any part of that.
That's the first thing that came to your mind.
It's one of the top things I don't want to see. Yeah.
Written letters about the safety of.
So, guys.
Oh.
Whoa! What the heck?
Because our safety is we kick her out.
Everybody, shush. President Obama's talking. My fellow Americans, want to tell us what to do. Good afternoon. I'd like to start off by thanking all of you out there who have called and written letters about the safety of the first family. You'll be happy to know that Michelle, Sasha, Melinda are members.
Oh.
What the?
The classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That was about to be very funny. Oh, wait. We in here.
Myself and Bo are all fine.
Don't nobody care about you, man. Tell us everything will be okay for us.
Everything is going to be okay. For us. We are currently in our very own super secret underground bunker with enough food and water and entertainment to last several lifetimes. But I'm here tonight to talk about you. In times of crisis, Americans pull together. And what's going to get us through this difficult time? Sharing. Lending a helping hand to a neighbor in their hour of need.
No, neighbor, what we need is a cure.
Unfortunately, there is no cure for the pandemic we now face. But we do have an even more powerful weapon. Compassion for our fellow man.
No! Compassion for our fellow man.
In conclusion, I want to say that we are all in for some tough times ahead. And when I say we, I mean you. Sasha, Malia, myself, and Bo are going to be right here, rooting for you all the way. And may God bless the United States.
We all gonna die.
Oh, man.
Oh.
All right. Yo, why you gotta make me follow that? Now talk about a tough act to follow, Jesus. Especially consider my message is about unity, and it's like, no, we all gonna die. All right.
Oh,
All right,
man. Yeah, close. Get us out of here, bro.
I'm not gonna let that change my message. All right. As bad as these times are, there are people in your life, I promise you, that have had it worse than it is right now. There are people who have been homeless their entire lives. People who haven't had a regular meal in months. All right. These people are now our fucking kings because they can teach all these rich effete sons of bitches how to be in this situation. My sister and I have given advice to numerous people who don't exactly know how to handle a situation where they can't go to their local coffee. What's the coffee? Starbucks. They can't go to their local Starbucks and get their mocha joca cappuccino, whatever. All right,
Mocha
so mocha joca cappuccino, whatever, and so now they're starting to follow that path inside their head, and they're starting to get down and down more. When really they should start to look outward, look at the people who have been in literally the same situation their entire lives. You know what I mean? There are people in the sub poverty lines who literally only leave their house to work. They're never fucking home anyway. And that's
Man.
like Vulture right now. All right. He literally spends every waking hour at work. And that's some people's regular everyday shit. Like, that's the thing some people aren't getting in this. Yes, we're all in this together. Yes, this is the COVID. Yes. But some people have been in this before, been in a situation where they didn't have anything, where they don't have enough. And now it's a big deal because it's affecting more people. But the truth is, there have always been people who didn't have enough. There have always been people who make sure that they can't have enough. You know what I mean? Like, this is the system we live in, and it's been flayed bare. Skin, bones cast aside for the meat and carcass that it is that this country has become, where it shits out the lowest common denominator, forgetting the age-old adage that brought America to greatness. You're only as strong as your weakest link. But now it feels like America keeps hammering on its weakest link to make it weaker and weaker and weaker, and then blame it as a scapegoat for when anything goes wrong. And that's what's being laid here. And this is the time where the people who have been downtrodden, who have never had enough, should rise up and show these people this is our value. You have had everything, and now look at you, you're worthless. We've had nothing, and now we are of value. Do you see the intrinsic value of human fluidity? And hope that in some way this changes at least one mind, at least one heart into doing the right thing, into being more compassionate, into being seen that humans are humans are humans are humans. Class, race, sex, orientation, none of that matters in the starving moments, in the moments where, you know, fucking somebody's grandma's dying, somebody's father is dying. These are the moments that we're all experiencing right now. And these are the moments that we need to learn to understand as a country, as the idea of individualism is broken. The idea of not communism, communal understanding, not communal life, because that's a whole different hippy dippy bullshit. But the idea that, well, fuck, what was it? Oh my God, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Black Wall Street. That didn't come out of nowhere. I talk about this with Vulture all the time. All right, like, Black Wall Street didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of people with money giving money to people without, and letting them flourish. And when the worst of us do as good as the best of us, we are as strong as we will ever be. But because the worst of us are constantly stepped on and dragged through the mud and treated as less than, we will never be anything better than the weakest link. And that's what's being shown right now. So let's be stronger. Let's bond together to create the strong links we need to fulfill the goals we have, to be able to feed a community, to be able to clothe the community, to be able to fall not in line, but fall in heart step with those around you. Oklahoma City, Black Wall Street didn't happen overnight or on accident. This was planned perfection of a society. Understand that. There has never been a society that flourished in such a rapid rate, in such a sustainable way, that they had to wipe it off the fucking map. All right? That's what we have the opportunity to start building now that we realize we're all here. Right now, everybody's been home. Everybody's low. Let's start building the communities that we've wanted to build since they stopped letting us, since they started getting in our way, since they started making laws about congregations and groupings, not during the COVID shit, but when they stopped letting us be a community and started making us this, that, them, they, her, it, everything different than what we are. People, huddled masses. That's what we are right now. And that's what America has sworn to protect and is doing nothing to help. And I think I'll stop now.
All right. Well, let me take us out of here. This is the SOULcast, episode 3, and one final note I will add to all you uppity so-called celebrities who can't leave your home and you're retreating to the internet. While it is a good idea to get some kind of sense of community to your fan base because people are feeling depressed, don't get on the fucking internet and saying "Imagine there's no heaven" when everybody's
Thank you.
grandma's dying.
How the fuck are you in your $100 million mansion singing "Imagine there's no possession"?
Don't do that.
You ain't got to imagine. Give me your address. Give me your address. Open your door. You ain't got to imagine shit.
Yeah, you don't have to imagine a damn thing. Imagine in your pockets, Anthony, nigga.
Right?
It's your boy.
I want to say one thing about the celebrities. If you know they. Oh yeah. Okay, my bad.
No. I mean, I'm about to end it, but go ahead. What you about to say, Z-Boy?
Oh, I was just saying, they've been using the celebrities to like tell people to stay at home. But to be fair, the celebrities don't have to really go out and like get stuff. So
exactly, they've never had it.
Yeah, that's why I'm mad.
That shit.
Well, using celebrities don't work. It don't work when you want me to buy your toilet paper. It don't work when you want me to vote for who you want me to vote for. It don't work when using celebrities does not work. I don't know why people think using celebrities work, but it just doesn't. Anyway, it's your boy Sophus, Hell Hydra. And we can just keep talking. I mean, because it's going to end, and whenever it ends, and they won't even get to know